Hello viewers, a warm welcome to the investment dialogue organized by Bangladesh Investment Development Authority and Foreign Investors Chamber and Commerce of Industries, Bangladesh. 28th and 29th is going to be the Bangladesh Investment Summit, a fantastic initiative organized by BIDA to attract investment and actually create an opportunity for Bangladesh potential to be fully exploited. I am really honored to have a very esteemed panel with me to talk about this potential. On my left, Dipal Abewikrama, who is the Managing Director of Nestle Bangladesh. Then I have Mahbub Rahman, who is the CEO of HSBC Bangladesh. Next to me, Javed Akhtar, CEO and Managing Director of Unilever Bangladesh. On this side, Chief External and Corporate Affairs Officer of bKash. And on the far side, Nasim Manzoor, he is the Managing Director of Apex Inroads in the leather sector. Bangladesh, destination for investment. If you trace back in history, you will find that Bangladesh is actually, this part of the world, is actually known for manufacturing. We were the manufacturers of muslin, the most expensive, the most premium fabric that the world had at one point in time. We were known for manufacturing jute products, our silk. So we actually have our roots in being a manufacturing super hub for the world. So it is not a new thing for us to be aspiring to become an investment destination once again. Now we are an independent country. We are making massive strides in the right direction. 50 years of independence we are celebrating. And under the leadership of our great leader, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, in the last 10 years, we have actually made significant progress. So my first question for today to my dearest friend Javed Akhtar from Unilever, how do you actually make the most out of the opportunity that is there in this country, mainly focusing on the manufacturing sector?
So Unilever has been in Bangladesh for more than 57 years. We've been through all the trials and tribulations the country has gone through. We've also seen the great fortune that the country has brought in for itself and benefited from it. Now, if you look at why is Unilever so successful and been operating for so long, is because we've embraced the country. And the best way to really be successful is you need to start embracing the country, look at the opportunities that lie, and you need to understand and go to the roots of the consumer. We've been there when there was no shampoo in the market. We started as only a soap company. Today, we are a large HPC and a foods company. And if you look at that's the fundamental thing that you need to go. Whenever you're coming to a country, you need to really embrace and go to the root and try to solve the problem for them. And that's what has yielded very well for us. Over the years, we have created categories that did not exist time after time. I remember when I joined as a brand manager, very few people actually were using toothpaste. It might surprise you, which is not too far away. It was 21 years back. But today, this is almost universal. But what we have done is we've actually educated people about that. We've gone to millions and millions of schools to really educate people on proper hand washing. Now, that sort of investment in terms of how do you really improve lifestyle, how do you connect to it, has a huge impact how you build categories for the future. And I keep on telling my team, and even Unilever globally tells me, you're only scratching the surface. And let me give you some statistics. If I look at per capita FMCG, we're roughly around $22 on per capita. And you just mentioned about 2,500 per capita GDP that we have a country. We are higher than our next door big neighbor. So it just talks about the potential this country has. And I'm trying to, and you might actually argue that, okay, listen, it's a big country, it's quite dynamic. I'll give you a very similar country that I have operated out of, which is Philippines. Very similar socioeconomic structure. The per capita FMCG contribution is $100. Now that gives you a perspective of where this industry actually can go. And Unilever is absolutely optimistic about it, that how do you really grow this business and grow it sustainably? Because over the years as we've grown, we've halved our environmental footprint into this country. So we believe that we can significantly add value to the Bangladesh economy over the next 50 years.
Let me move on to my other colleague, Dipal from Sri Lanka. Dipal, would you tell me something about, obviously Nestle has been here for a long time and your products are definitely one of the highest standards. We like to see you grow your portfolio and your business in Bangladesh. Do you see that Bangladesh as a potential export source? Do we have that competitive edge?
So today almost 70% of portfolio has been manufactured locally. So So that's a reflection of the power of the country and power of the labor and power of the intellectual capacity what we have. Opportunity to grow on FMCG space, and obviously FMCG space has been outgrowing per capita GDP for the last so many years. So that's again reflection of our domestic consumption. So the companies like us, multinational companies or the local companies, you have a solid foundation, solid consumer base locally, where you can have a part of your portfolio dedicated for local, and of course you can actually use that platform as a scale to export benefit. So there has to be differential treatment for local production, as well as there has to government should come out with a strong regulation, in fact comparable regulation or perhaps better regulation. So what I am saying is, in a nutshell, labor force, we have a young population, we have a very strong educated population coming up, and you have agri-based economy in certain areas. So you can have a very good vertical integration, and of course you have maritime advantages. And what required is a bit of a supply chain improvement areas, and of course certain logistics has to be improved. 5 years down the line, you are talking about 500 billion economy. So you can see the domestic consumption going on multiples. So with that, this country could be a very, very strongly positioned for export. And Nestle is extremely confident. We just invested almost $25 million this year itself during the COVID period to open up a new factory. So that's a reflection of the Nestle globally confidence on the market potential.
Viewers, you just saw that a multinational organization who is actually invested in this country, Nestle, is actually committed to Bangladesh, and even in the COVID crisis, they have actually invested in a new capacity in Bangladesh. I now change gear and actually look at the other side of the room. You are into the sector which is leather. When do I get to see Apex becoming a global brand, and I could actually see it everywhere dotted around the world and feel proud about it?
I think Bangladesh has proven that we can scale up, whether it is RMG, or whether it is fintech, whether it is, we just heard about Unilever and the number of points that they serve. It's unbelievable how you can scale. And I think there are very few countries that are so small in terms of area, but which have such scalable opportunities. So I think if you're an investor, you're looking for scale, you need to look at Bangladesh. The second reason, of course, is the MAC. The middle and the affluent consumer class that is emerging, ignore at your peril and bring on the competition. We love competition because competition is good for the consumer. And after so many years of operation, if we can't take on competition, we don't deserve to be here. So we have no problem with competition as long as the playing field is level. I think at the highest levels of government, and I say this in full honesty sitting on this panel, if I see the transformation from the Board of Investment to BIDA, if I sit in this beautiful auditorium and I'm remembering the old BOI office, which was not quite as nice, I can see the transformation. I can see the political will and the leadership and the vision from the Honorable Prime Minister down to bring about regulatory reform. So if you're an investor, you're looking at scale, you're looking at return, you're looking at regulatory reform space. We score on all these points. The last but not least, which is a little bit of a softer point, but as a Bangladeshi, born and brought up and proud, this has some of the most amazing people in the world. And the people-to-people connect that you can make in Bangladesh, you can't make in many other territories. You can make that as a brand, you can make that as a company, and you can certainly make that as an investor. So we have joint ventures in other companies. We have Taiwanese joint ventures. We have American joint ventures. And that is the first step in all country destinations, all country journeys, whether it's Korea, Taiwan, Japan, even the US. You started making other people's brands. From OEM to original design and manufacturing, ODM, and then to brand. Unfortunately, in the export space, Bangladesh has been quite slow getting to its own brand. And I think that's where we as an industry and we as a nation have not performed to potential. Yes, we have huge numbers in terms of exporting, becoming the second largest export earner for this country. But Bangladesh is now, interestingly, has the 8th highest capacity for production of footwear in the world, but is the 9th largest consuming country and only the 16th largest export. So what does that tell you? It tells you what our friends from Nestle and Unilever just said. So the first part of your question is that, yes, Bangladesh is proudly making today, a lot of that product is being made here in the footwear space. But that's not the ultimate destination. The ultimate destination is what you said, the dream and the aspiration. I think the aspiration is for Bangladeshi brands to go beyond the borders of Bangladesh. And as a Bangladeshi-born brand that is going global, I think where we go is going to be dictated by also the roots of where we come from. So Bangladesh investment opportunity is not for the faint of heart, but for those who have vision. So you need to come here now, come and meet us at this incredible International Investment Summit hosted by BIDA and that we are putting on today, the panel that we're putting on. Talk to us. We are the brand ambassadors of Investment Bangladesh. Time to do business in Bangladesh is now. We welcome you here.
Viewers, one thing is very clear, that the future of Bangladesh is just about to start. Bangladesh as a brand is about to be launched to the global stage. I then move into the service sector. How do you see the growth of the service sector? How fast can it grow? And what role you can play in facilitating the sector's growth?
As a bank, our business is a function of economic growth and a function of the growth of our customers, and some of them are present here in this panel. Our operation in Bangladesh started in 1996 December. So while Bangladesh is celebrating 50 years, we are going to celebrate on 3rd December as our 25 years operation in Bangladesh.
Wonderful.
As a group, we are 156-year-old group, international bank. But in Bangladesh, albeit we were here in 60s or maybe in 50s through one of our fully owned subsidiaries, Mercantile Bank of India Limited. So our genesis in this territory actually has been long standing, and the last 25 years, as we all know, that we took advantage of the thriving economy that we see for Bangladesh period of 50% of its existence of 50 years or 25 years. So there are three aspects that I would like to highlight that we have experienced, and then the second part that I will answer your questions. And echoing a few pointers that my fellow friends here had already mentioned. The domestic demand growth, number one, 170 million people, 50% below 25, a thriving demography. And of course, GDP growth as well as the per capita income growth. The second one would be the infrastructure development. And we as a bank are a very proud partner in this progress. So not only in the physical infrastructure, one of the reflection that we have during pandemic, that the service infrastructure, be it healthcare, education, digitalizations, that reflection that we see that a huge potential coming up. Physical infrastructure, of course, we have been a partner of supporting Bangladesh government to buy the 2 Dreamliners. And I just want to put up one of our understanding, my personal observations, that while we operate our aircrafts as a terminating destination from and to Bangladesh, but just look at the proximity to some of the thriving cities, that connections, and when I see that the 3rd terminal is happening, and I visualize that Bangladesh and Dhaka becoming a hub of the transportations, of the air transportations coming in and making the outbound flights from Bangladesh to some of the Asian cities. The third one is the supply chain reconfiguration. So we see the China Plus strategy as well as to really take advantage of lead time, and the growing market in Asia is going to be taken advantage of by Bangladeshi entrepreneurs. We have established ourselves within these 25 years as the leading trade bank. We are the leading trade bank in Bangladesh, if not the largest trade bank. We take care of circa 10%. But look at the phenomenal rise of international trade of import or export, raw materials. So today, our overall export-import is $100 billion, which is 30% to the GDP. And I'm sure the banking sector will find that as one of the thriving sector in Bangladesh.
Actually, using our geography, the position that we have within this region, how can we exploit our geopolitical position almost, and actually make bigger opportunities for our industries, our service sector? These are the things we need to all aspire to. Viewers, I will now move into a very interesting sector, a Bangladeshi brand which is making very, very interesting vibes and creating difference in our lives. It is bKash I'm talking about. bKash is a fantastic story. You have taken mobile financial service to the grassroots, but still half of the country is unbanked. How do you see your progress? The opportunity is you almost just reach 50% of the opportunity, maybe another 50% exists. bKash has been a fantastic brand story, and it is attracting foreign direct investment from the very big players. How did you go about attracting that, and how has that relationship been?
It was in 2010 when this financial inclusion was conceptualized by this current government. And at that stage, only 15% of adult population of Bangladesh had bank accounts. But at the same time, 65% of Bangladeshi population had some kind of mobile phones. So if you look at this device, which is a very powerful processing device, and people had been using it only for talking or sending messages. So it was our founder and the current CEO, Kamal Kadir, who thought about it, that how best this mobile phone could be utilized, bringing in population under some kind of banking, formal banking. So he went to Kenya to actually see whatever was happening in Kenya in 2007 and walked on the streets to really understand this very mobile financial service for himself. Came back and talked to Sir Abid, who gave him the green to go ahead and talk to Bangladesh Bank. And Bangladesh Bank had given license at the stage in 2010, and the service actually started in 2011. Today, you'd be happy that 57 million adult population of Bangladesh are bKash customers who are unique customers. So first thing that mobile financial service brought was send money home. So P2P, person to person, started and actually had solved many problems of our common people. Then of course, if you keep only one use case for a particular service, it is not attractive. So we introduced many more products and services. Now we can do your mobile recharge for yourself and friends and family. You can pay your bill, you can pay for your groceries. Foreign remittance from almost about 10 million people living abroad and working are being sent to banks, and bank getting it settled can also send it through the bKash system to the bKash customers. This is instant gratification they get, and it takes about a couple of minutes only. So somebody who needing, say for example, some money for the medicine of the child who is sick, the wife would just simply give a call, the husband can immediately send remittance to wife, and that particular case can be dealt with. When we started back in 2011, if you look at the GDP of Bangladesh, it was about $219 billion. The MFS picked up, I would say in 2017, it had real good traction. It had $230 billion GDP. Today, in just about a couple of years, is $409 billion, with a 966 purchasing power parity equivalent. So that's a great kind of moving forward of this economy of Bangladesh. And I feel strongly that MFS had its own contribution because it has generated the velocity of movement of money among all classes of people. From day one, bKash had remained a very, very compliant company. In the financial service sector, you have to be very careful in protecting the money of the customer because it's their money. So following and remaining compliant is the essence of actually attracting others to shaking hand with you. You'd be happy to know there are 30 banks who are integrated with bKash. There are about 60 money transfer operators who are licensed abroad, are sending in money through 9 banks, which are now being disbursed to bKash account holders. So you'll be happy to know that last year we had $50.21 billion transacted through bKash. It's a platform that's that much secure. The question of cyber security is very important. And 2 of the latest investors that we had is from Ant Group, financial wing of Alibaba, and also SoftBank. They had severe, I would say, stringent due diligence. And we had qualified, and that actually made them feel that this is a secure company where they can make such investment.
Viewers, I would like to now take a chance and actually invite my esteemed panelists to each of them just say one or two words about how they would speak to a potential investor in Bangladesh.
The Bangladesh has been a manufacturing hub many years back. So my man says, history repeats. Today, look at this panel. Today you have an intellectual capacity of the population is a reflection of this panel. All the big companies have been represented by the local countrymen. And that's the capacity of your resilient population. And you have a maritime advantage. You also have an agri advantage today. And the pace of change is so dramatic today. Consumer is changing much faster pace than ever before. They are also looking at various new innovation formats. And this is the country which is ready today and resilient, agile to bring your investment and not only look at the basket of the domestic consumption, also to use this as a helipad to export to your other neighboring countries, what my panel said before.
It's become much more international today, and it will become even more international in the days to come. Come, explore and collaborate with local entrepreneurs as well as existing investors.
I'll tell you why Bangladesh. We started with one soap line in 1964 on a 15-acre land. We now have 8 manufacturing hubs. Today, algorithms decide what stock I'll keep in the 500,000 store I serve on a universe of 1.7 million outlets that we serve every day. So Bangladesh is actually at a stage where the demographic dividend will give you immense benefit. I can tell you that, and we're going to leapfrog. It's not a country that's going to go into incremental growth. It's going to leapfrog. And even now, sitting here today and having worked across multiple markets, your cost of entry is significantly lower. So this is the country, this is the place to invest if you really want to see a return of your money. And I think this is where I will bet my money as well today to see, and I hope you will do as well.
See, bKash was founded in 2010 with Bragg Bank and Money in Motion LLC, a US-based company. Then we had investment from IFC of World Bank Group. Then we had investment from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Then we had investment from Ant Group, China. And the latest one, obviously, from SoftBank, Japan. All of these are very reputed and well-known organizations in the international arena. So that speaks of the confidence of the foreign investors in Bangladesh. If the company is well run, is staffed with the right kind of people, it has the right technology, and the kind of regulatory support the country can provide, the regulator can provide. So I find these are the inspirational story that would inspire other investors to come and invest in Bangladesh.
I think Bangladesh has proven that we can scale up, whether it is RMG, whether it is fintech, whether it is, we just heard about Unilever and the number of points that they serve. It's unbelievable how you can scale. And I think there are very few countries that are so small in terms of area, but which have such scalable opportunities. So I think if you're an investor, you're looking for scale, you need to look at Bangladesh.
Thank you so very much, my panelists. It's been wonderful talking to you all. Bangladesh that will be in 2041, that's our dream of becoming a developed nation. So in the end, viewers, I would like to welcome everyone to the Bangladesh Investment Summit that is happening on the 28th and 29th of this month. It's a big opportunity not only for foreign direct investors, it's also an opportunity for local investors to find out the opportunity that Bangladesh has to offer. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you at the summit, inshallah.